come to order and start our meeting.
Thanks. Very late entry.
We're doing tonight, January 27th, 2026, Planning and Zoning Meeting. Could we all stand and do the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And for those who are just coming in or have been in, if you were wanting to present something, we ask that you please sign up on our clipboards over there so that we have you on and ready to testify. Could we get roll call, please?
Commissioner Thomas.
Here.
Commissioner Lilly. Commissioner Stanfield.
Here.
Commissioner Schnittken.
Here.
City Attorney Sandow.
Here.
Planning and Zoning Administrator Travis Allen. Here. Planning and Zoning Administrator Steve Smith.
Thank you. Have you all had the time to read the minutes from our January 13th meeting?
Sorry.
Yes,
Yes.
Do I have a motion?
I move we accept it.
I have a motion to accept
I'll second it.
and a second to approve our January 13th minutes. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? So it passes. On our consent agenda tonight, we have a finding of facts for a conditional use permit for a home occupation at 1139 Plains Drive. Excuse me.
I can't hear anything you're saying.
I know it's,
Thank you.
It's echoing up here.
Yeah.
Thank you, yeah. Yes. I agree.
it was bothering me.
Go ahead, I'll adjust.
Okay, so it's on the facts and finding for a home occupation at 1139 Plains Drive, Elizabeth Tubbs. Do we have any,
If there aren't any changes, then you just do a motion to approve.
do we have any changes?
I motion that we approve as written.
So we have a motion to approve. We have a second.
I second.
We have a motion to approve and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? So the conditional use permit for home occupation at 1139 is passed. Next on the agenda is a report on ex parte communication or conflicts of interest. Do we have any conflicts of interest or ex parte? So if we can move on now to our public hearing, we'll have our staff report on a conditional use permit to have 4 llamas per acre in a low-density residential 1 zone at 330 Wilson Avenue.
Thank you, Cheryl. This agricultural permit is for llamas, and we don't have code written for all llamas, but it does allow for an equivalent animal density compared to other llamas. The application for the agricultural conditional use permit is for 4 llamas per acre. According to the sources provided by the applicant in the application, llamas consume significantly less and exert substantially less ground pressure than horses, approximately 25% of a horse's impact. Additional references submitted by the applicant indicate that llamas also generate fewer nuisances related to noise, odors, and accumulation of flies, therefore reducing the likelihood of impacts on adjacent properties. Based on these characteristics, an appropriate animal density is equivalent of 2 horses per acre. Would-be llamas is 8 llamas per acre. The applicant rents 1 parcel that is 2.6 .65 acres. The subject property retains the underlining low-density residential LDR1 zoning. As a result, the standards applicable to the conditional use permit for agricultural uses continues to apply. Under these standards, any buildings or corrals excluding perimeter fencing intended to house animals must be located no less than 30 feet from property lines and 50 feet from any residential structure. All must be relevant requirements in the appropriate health authority. Based on the characteristics of the parcel, the applicant, if needed, can meet both the required setbacks and maintain the minimum of 1 acre dedicated to llama use. This site also allows sufficient space for vaccination, monitoring for parasites, and compliance with the state veterinary requirements. As you see on the attached map on the back of my staff report, you can see how that acre of land could be cut out. You can see a 30-foot setback from all property lines and a 50-foot radius to the other residence that's on the property, and a 50-foot radius to any of the houses that are in the subdivision next door. The applicant has submitted a plan demonstrating a viable and ongoing method for frequent manure removal. The plan is expected to be effective to prevent obnoxious odors and reduce conditions conducive to fly accumulation, thereby minimizing potential impacts to neighboring properties. Llamas are members of the Atrodactyla family, sorry if I butchered that, and are classified as domestic, farm, or pack animals. As such, they fall under an exemption provided in City Code 6212, prohibited animals, and are not regulated as prohibited species by animal control. All conditional use permits are granted for an indefinite time frame unless specific requirements are imposed as conditions of approval. The property use changes substantially or the operation of the approved conditional use increases by more than 25% or otherwise changes sufficiently to warrant review. CUPs run with the land or attached to the property rather to the applicant. As such, CUPs are transferable to subsequent applicants or property owners. Non-conforming uses that are discontinued for continuous period of 6 months are where there is otherwise clear evidence of the owner's intent to abandon the non-conforming use shall not be reestablished. Therefore, the use of the premises shall conform to the regulations of the applicable zoning district. The applicant is currently developing property located in the county that will provide more suitable long-term location for the llamas. As part of the conditional use request, the applicant has indicated a willingness to accept a limited approval period of 1 year for the property if deemed necessary as a condition of approval. The applicant also requests that the commission consider granting an indefinite time frame for the CUP in order to allow the pasture to be leased for future grazing activities. The applicant has stated that continued grazing would assist weed control and improve the overall aesthetics of the property. Additionally, the applicant requests that the commission consider in support of the CUP that the city code provides an exemption within a rural ranchette zoning district, allowing the increase in the cumulative total or density of animals for seasonal or rotational grazing. The subject property is zoned low density residential 1, and is bordered on the west by properties owned rural ranchette and on the east by 7 lots with the Evans subdivision, which are also zoned LDR1. All city superintendents with their reviews and the following comments. Water superintendent says property has current service. If approved, they'll need a cross-contention inspection and must comply with city codes. Water use restriction. Watering troughs for animals shall not be allowed. A constant flow of water shall be allowed to use such quantity as the supply the actual wants of the stocks having access thereto. Nor shall continuous streams of water be permitted to flow from hydrants, faucets, or stop water basins, water closets, or urinals. Street sanitation superintendent. There's no new impact on city traffic flow, and he has the capacity to supply services. Fire marshal says Maintain 5-foot structure setbacks to property lines if moving structures. All other superintendents had no additional comments. The staff recommend the approval of the conditional use permit subject to the following conditions. The approval allows that the existing animal density of 8 llamas per acre currently pastured on the property remain. If verified complaints or reports or nuisances impacting adjacent properties are received, the applicant shall be required to implement the applicable setbacks in accordance to the agricultural conditional use permit standards. Even if the setbacks are required to mitigate potential impacts to neighboring properties, the recommended animal density of 8 llamas per acre would still be viable. All conditional use permits are granted for an indefinite time frame unless the use of the property changes or violations occur in accordance to the criteria set forth in conditional use permits, including but not limited to nuisance related to odors and waste generation. Staff recommends approval of the CUP with an indefinite time frame and adherence to the standard procedures governing conditional use permits and non-conforming uses. Any questions?
Travis, did you say that they were asking for 1 year and then you turn around and say indefinite?
The applicant is willing to work on that if is required for the approval for a limited time of 1 year. He would agree to that. He just wanted to point out the fact that he can come back and make the property look nicer if he's able to come back and graze it when he's moved to his new location. So it's just an option that the commissioners can decide on if they wanted to have a limit on the time frame. The applicant is willing to accept that if that's required for an approval. If not, the indefinite time frame as standard procedure is also acceptable.
So basically, if we say 1 year, they can come back in 1 year and renew it for another year,
Yeah,
years or whatever.
or
Okay.
We wouldn't have to do a reapplication. I could probably do that under an administrative authority to renew that or extend that conditional use permit.
Because he doesn't own the property.
He doesn't own the property, you know.
So he'd still be at the whim of whoever owns the property to let them come and graze it,
Well,
whether it be llamas or whatever.
it's specifically for a certain density and a certain type of animal. So any other than that, they'd have to get their own conditional use permit.
Right, but I think Jim's point is if the guy took the lease away,
If he took the lease away, yeah.
then that kind of,
Yeah,
But it would run with the land and the owner could pick up the lease for llamas and lease it out to another individual with llamas. But that's what it would be limited to. It wouldn't be for other livestock.
and are we looking at 4 llamas per acre or the 8 that he brings out?
He requested 4 llamas per acre, and that would be fine if he didn't have to meet them setbacks. That's why I suggest the 8 llamas per acre. He has provided studies in his application saying that that is feasible compared to horses, and that if he had to meet them other setbacks, then the 8 llamas per acre would justify how many llamas he has there now and be able to continue.
So he has llamas there now.
Yeah, that's what brought up the application. He's here today to testify in favor of his application, and I can turn the time over to him if you don't have any more questions.
Good.
Okay.
So if we could have Brett Blackstone come up.
Hello.
Give us your name and your address, please.
Sure. I'm Brett Blackstone. Address is 330 Wilson Avenue. So basically, without repeating what Mr. Allen said, I lease the property from the owner. I do work with him. He had asked me to bring llamas over because the horses that were currently on it were eating all the weeds. He said, will your llamas eat? I said, surely will. It'll look like a golf course when they're done. So he said, bring them over. I leased the property. The llamas have been there for a year. We've had no problems. We didn't realize it had been rezoned So the owner, it's been in his family for 50-plus years. His parents lost it, he rebought it. He didn't realize it had been rezoned, because the neighbor next door still has a lot of livestock. So fast forward, we realized this, so I applied for the permit, but yes, like Mr. Out, we went through the research. The good thing, we already have a perfect case study of what the pasture will support. We have before and after pictures. When I got there, it was totally overgrown and was a breeding ground for feral cats. There's about 50 cats on it. So all of that's gone, the trash is gone. But yeah, other than that, just, it meets all the requirements we've went through, just like if we want to mirror the neighbor's property, what it used to be. Size of property, setbacks, compatibility, nuisance, like I said, I know almost all the neighbors, I'm out there almost every day. Most of them like to sit in their backyard and look at the llamas or pet them, or they're not loud. Their manure doesn't stink, and it's actually the best fertilizer in the world, so we sell it. We have people that come and pick it up probably twice a month for the farmers. I also train people how to train llamas. I've had them for about 21 years now, so we bring in people from Washington, Montana, and they all stay in Blackfoot, so rather than a nuisance on the community, we actually bring in, an economic value. And like Mr. Allen said, we did buy a property outside of town. It's kind of been a nightmare with drilling, and turned out to be way more lava rock on it than we thought. So that's what we're just asking for, more time before we can move them. And these are all juvenile llamas, so they're not full grown till they're 4 years old. So I've got 2-year-olds out there, and I can't put them with the big pack until they're full grown. So that's why, about 1.5 years is what we need to. And then, like he said, they've done so well on the property, the owner has said, hey, when you leave, do you mind bringing 2 or 3 back every summer and let them? I said, no problem if we can get it approved. So that's what we were hoping. If it's attached with the property, we have that option. And, the owner owns 2 or 3 houses. He owns 3 houses around that area also. So he would like it to look nice. So, yeah, that's where we're at with it. We can 100% comply with, I've got the staff report that Mr. Allen put out yesterday, and 100% comply with everything he's got on here. We actually keep them on
in there now?
7.
7 in there now?
Yeah, so I think we could keep 11 on there with the size of the pasture, but it's 7. And matter of fact, 1's being sold, so the most we'll ever have is 7. We're probably going to 6 here in a month. So as they hit 4 years old, they start working full time. We've got a nonprofit where we take people into Yellowstone, Wind River, take people on hunting trips that are injured that can't carry a pack. That's what the llamas are for. They carry about 100 pounds apiece. So, if it's temporary, if it's attached to the property, like I said, we'd love to bring it back for the owner as a thank you for him letting us stay there. But if that's a deal breaker, we understand too. So, as far as any shelter setbacks, we feel like we've complied with everything. But if anybody has any complaints, we'll definitely talk about it and do anything we can to make. I'm not aware of any complaints. Like I said, we've already been there a year, so and I'll stick around too for if anybody's got any questions. We've got signs, we've got cameras, we put up fly traps. So, like I said, I think we've improved the property. I know we have from where it was. Fixed all the fencing that the horses tore up. Llamas don't challenge fencing. All the llamas are microchipped. They have DNA profiles. They're valuable, so we keep up with them. And it's more about keeping dogs out than keeping them in. So, yeah, other than that, I'm open for any questions.
I don't have any.
Thank you.
All right, appreciate it. Thanks.
We don't have anyone signed up neutral or in opposition, so can we entertain a motion?
Motion to close?
Yeah, I don't think you actually ever opened it,
I
but
don't,
if there's nobody here, you're fine.
so we'll close the
Public hearing.
public
Yeah.
hearing. And we have a motion.
I move that we approve the CUP.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
So the motion for a CUP for the, I mixed it over. Llama
for the llamas as presented.
Yep, pass it. Thank you, Brett. Our next on the agenda is annexation for a portion of RRPO 350205 and zone change for RP 1334406, Jason Moulton. Can we have a staff report?
Yeah. This is kind of a combination, three-way combination, so my staff report's gonna cover annexation, zoning, rezoning, and later on there'll be a conditional use permit and a minor subdivision which is approved by Public Works. So I'd like to make that out front right now. The current zoning and the comprehensive plan policies relevant to this proposed annexation and zoning and zone change. The requested annex of the area of 0.34 acres, 45 feet by 327.9 feet section of the portion of the parcel of RP 350205 located north of the parcel RP 133406. If you'd bring up that animal clinic map. This is a rough sketch with the map tool that I use. This is the lot as it currently sits below the two lots. It's zoned LDR1. That's why it's yellow. And the pink section up there, or purple, is going to be the annexation with the other LDR1 annexation, only 25 feet deeper on this parcel. So that's what we kind of have currently, and that's what's going to be part of the annexation and rezoning. The subject land is contiguous and adjacent to property that is zoned light industrial M1 and for low density residential LDR1. The zoning request for M1 is for the 133.16 feet wide by 45 feet deep on the west side and 193.64 feet by 45 feet deep of the LDR on the east side. The M1 zoning is appropriate, conforming, and with the comprehensive plan, it is contiguous to a M1 zone. The M1 zone provides for and encourages industries that such that the appearance of buildings and treatment of the land will not be detrimental or intrusive to surrounding commercial or residential uses. The LDR1 zoning is contiguous and appropriate for forming with comprehensive plan as it promotes and maintains single-family residential neighborhoods with conditions favorable for family living and to encourage the development of low-density areas of land and are best suited for residential purposes to prevent overcrowding of the land. And the current zoning for 1334406 is LDR1 and is bordered by the M1 zone. The annexation and the zoning is conforming with the comprehensive plan as M1 and LDR1. The proposed zone change, the parcel that is north of Rich Lane will have a zone change. The subject land is adjacent to property that is zoned M1 and LDR1. If we can pull up on the screen Equine Center number 2. This is what it'll look like after the rezoning and the annexation is complete. The pink area will be light industrial M1 and the yellow area will be LDR1, and it will meet the requirements for the annexation, that what they would like to do. You can see the black line up there is about the approximate size of the barn and location of where that will be for the Equine Center, and it'll expand with the veterinary clinic as well. The subject land is adjacent to property that is zoned M1 and LDR1. The zoning change requested is light industrial is M1 for 133.16 feet wide and 180 feet total deep on the west side and 193.33 feet by 45 feet deep of low density residential 1 will remain the same on the east side. The light industrial M1 zoning is appropriate for conforming with the comprehensive plan for the expansion of the veterinary clinic and the proposed use for the treatment of animals. The proposed zone change aligns with the annexation and zone designated zone request to create one parcel large enough for the expansion of the veterinary clinic in a M1 zone while creating enough room for LDR1 development and future access to the enclave. Preventing being landlocked in for future annexation and development. The applicants have applied for a conditional use permit for veterinary clinic is required according to the schedule of use districts. Approval of the annex and zone change will be a condition of approval for the CUP. The existing land use and site of the annexation. The development is bordered by the west by light industrial M1 zoning and a veterinary clinic and livestock auction yard. Bordered to the east is low-density residential 1 with single-family residence. Bordered to the north by property outside of city limits in county jurisdiction zoned residential agricultural. The development is bordered to the south by low-density residential 1 that is the National Guard Armory and undeveloped agricultural land. The location and size and adequacy of capacity of the existing sewer lines. The site has adequate access to city water and sewer lines. All preliminary plats are accompanied by proof of transferable irrigation rights. The city may authorize, in specific cases, a variance from the requirement of pressure irrigation systems, if not contrary to the public interest. The Public Works decision would be a condition of approval for the minor subdivision development. A description of the physical characteristics of the site to include basic inventory of vegetation and unique features. The site has been vacant lot used for agricultural grazing for several years and is conducive to infill development. A description of the existing streets serving the site of the subdivision and synopsis of the proposed streets. No new streets will be made part of this annexation, zoning and zone change. A parking lot would be permitted without any additional applications when zoned as an M1. The preliminary site plan report. Site plan meeting was held to discuss city ordinance and development requirements regarding this annexation, zoning, and zone change. Each superintendent submitted their staff reports from this meeting with conditions that they require from the developer to meet the city's annexation, zoning, and zone change ordinance. An analysis of impact of the annexation, zoning, and zone change in the infrastructure of the community. This shall include deficiencies in existing infrastructure and other improvements that would need to bring the infrastructure up to acceptable level of service. The superintendents have assessed the development and agree that the existing city infrastructure can support the addition. See staff reports below. Fire marshal, no comment at this time. Future development will need reviewed for code compliance. Type of development structure will determine access, fire flow, etc. A full set of architectural plans will be required for commercial buildings. Street superintendent says there's little to no impact on city street flow. The sanitation department has capacity to supply services. Wastewater treatment plant superintendent, wastewater has nothing at this time. Parks and Recs, park department has no issues or input on this project. And water superintendent has an existing water service to current animal shelter. No additional service has been requested at this time. I was asked by an audience member to provide a definition of what light industrial is. The purpose in establishing the light industrial zone is to provide for and encourage industries such that the appearance of buildings and the treatment of the land will not be detrimental or obtrusive to the surrounding commercial or residential uses. That will be the end of my report, and if you have any more questions.
So the parcel in pink, purple, whatever that is, that will be commercial. The parcel in yellow
It'll
will
be M1 or light industrial, not commercial. There is a difference.
Okay, it makes reference to subdivision. Subdivision will be commercial then?
Reference,
Or are you calling subdivision any division of a parcel, or are you
any
calling?
division of the parcel is a
It's not,
subdivision.
quote, platted
It's
subdivision.
not a resident, it's kind of a combination of residential and light industrial. subdivision.
So that's the proposed intent
Yeah.
when all this is done, okay?
Yeah, it'll be a minor subdivision application. Our minor subdivision applications are 4 lots or less with no new roads. This will not have a road currently. At this, application, they're just planning on expanding the veterinary clinic for right now with their equine center. They don't plan to develop the residential lots yet. But with that being said, if you want to go to animal clinic number 3. They do have enough space in there for a 60-foot right-of-way if necessary to keep that back lot or that back parcel from being landlocked in there. And they do have enough room to meet all the frontage and setbacks and lot size requirements for LDR1 with this annexation and rezoning. You can see 3 lots in there, and the orange lot in the middle would be a dedicated right-of-way for future development.
But you're not calling that a street?
We're not doing that in the minor application. I'm just illustrating that there is enough room to
This may be
maintain-
a plan someday.
Yeah, this may be a plan, and they do have enough room to maintain the LDR1 lot sizes and frontage for the street or a dedicated right-of-way in front of them.
Okay.
Thank you.
This time, let's do a motion.
So at this time, can I get a motion to have public hearing on the
Proposed annexation?
proposed annexation for the veterinary equine center?
There were 3 things. What were the other 2?
I'll move that we open public hearing.
Did you second it?
Second?
So we'll open the public hearing. I have for in favor of Scott Jensen.
My name's Scott Jensen. I reside at 836 East Presto Road. I work for Harbor 11 Engineering, and we've been representing and helping get this development going for the Moultons. First of all, I'd like to thank Travis and Planning and Zoning. That was a good presentation. It helped explain it quite a bit. It's a busy application with several things. We call it a multi-use application. I don't know that I've got a whole lot to add to what he presented, but the process that we've been going through, working with the city, we've met with them for site plan review, and as he stated in the staff report, we feel that we can meet all the requirements for this 2-lot subdivision. I know at the end he indicated that we may have some future plans, and there is room to do something on the residential side. That's not in motion yet. I think the main concern is to get it broken into the 2 lots, the one that they can improve and build their equine center portion of the vet clinic. So that's the main concern there. And then the conditional use permits that allow them to do that in that M1 zone. With the plating process that can come afterwards, we're going to continue to work with the city and make sure that all the ordinances are followed, and that we get through the proper procedures there. But yeah, the main idea is we're going to have just these 2 lots, rezone them so that we can use them as they want to with the equine center and maybe some future single-family residential on the other side. And we had to annex 45 more feet just to accomplish enough room, as we saw up there, for the lots and for their equine center. And then the conditional use permits. So I think that's all I have to present. Any questions for me, I guess? No.
Thank you.
Oh, I do have one question, sorry.
She has one for you.
Scott,
Yes.
I don't know if I was thinking, I don't know where I got this. I thought I heard that there was 4 lots for, that could be developed as homes, and I only see 3.
You got the 60-foot access.
Yeah.
The
Okay,
access
so-
road, okay,
Yeah, so in that one where there's a
Right.
possibility of putting a 60-foot road
right,
and still have enough room for the 3
Gotcha.
residential lots, there you go, thank you.
gotcha.
So if they want to move ahead with that at a later date, we have the room to do that. It still is a buffer between the M1 and it blends right in with
Right.
the adjacent LDR one. So
All right,
does that
thank you,
answer your question?
thank you. Okay, so we'll,
They did the motion, so you're good there.
so I have one person that's, would like to testify as neutral, Judith Barton.
Well, first I'd like to thank Mr. Allen because I was here early. Oh, Judith Barton, 431 Rich Lane. So I want to thank Mr. Allen because when I got here, I was able to talk with him and he addressed most of my concerns, which I really appreciated and helped me understand a little bit better what's going on. My concern still remains though with the infrastructure, especially as they move forward with more homes in the area. Our water out there, our water pressure just up and down and up and down. So it needs to be addressed before he expands into building more homes particularly, so that we don't lose the water pressure that we have. I mean, we don't have much. It goes up and down. You have to plan your shower or else you're just gonna be in a little stream trying to run around to get wet. So if that could be looked at into the future as well as what's going into the stables and whatnot, to address it and build it up so that we have the adequate water that we need at that time. Especially with the other projects that are going on in the city, we're not prepared for that with the infrastructure that we have at this point. So, thank you.
Thank you. I have no one that signed up in opposition. Is there anyone else that wanted to speak that did not sign up? Okay, so we'll close.
I have to say something.
Can I have you?
My foot's gone to sleep sitting there.
Give your, sign that and then name that list.
Can I borrow your pen? Thank you. Sorry.
So we have Deanne.
Deanne Mucko.
Mucko.
It's a lot simpler than it looks. 828 East Airport Road. I'm concerned that there's several phases and what if this and what if that with this plan. That residential area looks too small. Are you saying MDR1? Are they saying they're zoning it to MDR1?
No, LDR one, low density residential, so lowest density that we offer in our code.
And the lot is, it's taking up that field to expand part of it for commercial, and then that potential for the road is
Yeah.
industrial?
Well, it's light industrial, it's, the code for it is M1, and that's what already,
Okay.
the animal clinic is already using.
Right, M1. And the 3 lots meet the requirement for L?
Yeah, you can see on the
L1?
screen that they're 70 feet wide with the 60-foot right-of-way. 70-foot wide is required for LDR1 for street frontage, and according to our city specifications for a residential street, it'd be 60 feet wide. That's what that parcel in the middle is. That would include 2 lanes, sidewalk, curb and gutter, and additional
additional right of way for utilities.
I guess my only concern then is that, all the what-ifs. This is just the zoning change
Well, if
at
we
this
go-
point.
If we go back to, two, this is what it's gonna look like after the zone change, the annexation, and the rezoning of them at one. This is as far as it'll go right now, so it's only 2 lots, and they can apply for a minor subdivision application. Because there's 2 lots, according to a definition of the minor subdivision, that's 4 lots or less with no new roads. So this is, as far as this is going.
That's what we're
currently,
approving today,
that's where we're
is
approving
just that.
today, What this is gonna look like.
Okay, I don't have a problem with that. I guess you can scratch me off the opposition. Thank you for
Too
clarifying.
late now. You've already said.
Okay, leave me on there if I change my mind.
Thank you for your comments. And
Thank you. So we'll close the public hearing if we have no one else. And do I have anyone entertain a motion to,
I want some discussion first.
oh, no.
On the staff report, it says that Groveland Water and Sewer had no comment. This is a long ways from Groveland.
They're just on the list. That's,
Oh.
so the list is every governmental entity,
Oh, okay,
so it doesn't mean that they have a jurisdictional issue, it's just that they're on the list.
got it.
That's right. We have 20 public agencies we notify on every annexation, rezone, conditional use permits, subdivision developments, whether it's PUD or subdivision. And if they feel an issue, they will comment, but we overlap them with our city limits, so they're on our list.
Okay, we've had testimony that there is water pressure issue. Who has to upgrade the water pressure?
Well, on this minor subdivision app, there's no new city services required, that's already there. If there's future development, we do have a bid awarded to a well driller for well 14 that should be able to complete the drilling of the well. I don't know about the rest of the infrastructure. Should be completed at least by the end of February.
And that would provide water for
It provide
not
water
only this property, but
for
everybody in the
whole-
neighborhood.
The whole city.
So it's already in the works to do that, whether
Yes.
this
Is that the one by
had
State
come.
Hospital?
Yeah, that's one by the State Hospital on the corner of Pendlebury and Cromwell.
They're
Yep.
pumping.
Yeah. It-
Keep my kid up during the day.
We did do initial tests on that well, and it passed flying colors on flow rates and back T tests on the initial test well. They're drilling what well to meet the culinary requirements right now. We do have infrastructure that needs to be put in later, such as pumps and power and stuff like that. But that's also the site of possible fire department substation. The city owns that property.
Okay, so the water issue is already gonna be corrected, whether this came before us tonight or not.
Yeah, it's well
That's
into
good.
the works. Funds are mostly approved for most of the project, and water rights have been procured. And we can transfer water rights from other wells that are culinary water rights to this well as well, from wells that might have been sanded in or don't perform well.
Okay.
Thank you.
Can I speak?
The public hearing's over.
Oh, no,
What's that?
it's not over, is it yet?
Well, they closed it,
They closed it?
yeah.
That section's closed.
Okay. I just was concerned because at LDR one, you can put a PUD on it.
Well, and the subdivision's not at issue tonight, it's just the annexation of those 2 lots.
Yeah, but your annexation into an
I
area
get
where
it,
you can
right.
put a PUD in,
But-
that's what I'm saying.
But
Yeah,
that's
the
all
pub-
future.
Yeah.
That's a what if.
That's a what if,
You,
lots of what ifs. Okay.
exactly. We can't dictate what we do or what we say with what ifs.
What if. Very good.
But show up when that comes to a head, and
All right.
we'll listen to it then.
I won't be here then.
So I want to just make sure that we all understand. I know that when they use the word subdivision, because I did have someone ask me about that today. The word subdivision in everyone's mind is, we're gonna go out and build homes in there. And so I think people believe that that's what was happening, because that was a couple of people that talked to me about it. No, that's not what is happening. He's asking for 2 lots to be changed. He will have to come back in front of the commission to apply for whatever kind of homes he wants to put in there or whatever kind of stuff like that. We're not approving that tonight. It's just for the lots to be changed so he can do that. And
Increase his commercial business, that's what it's for, is his business.
And one other thing, when you when you subdivide initially, it's when you take a section, which is 640 acres, and break it up. A subdivision plat is when you do either a commercial or a residential subdivision, as we all think of it as being.
I understand all that. I'm saying is, as soon as you change it, it's really hard for the people to stop the stuff that gets put in.
Technically, you can't stop the stuff
Well-
by the people unless you own the property.
So we got.
that really
so-
isn't our
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it's-
understand, but if
this
it's
isn't time for a
council, see
debate,
what's
so-
done.
That-
I mean,
that-
but
it-
see, our hands are tied as soon as you guys change it. As soon as you change it, it's over.
That is not what we're discussing
I know.
tonight, so I mean, we appreciate your comments, but that's not what the issue is tonight, and it's not up for debate. So we closed the meeting.
Public hearing, yeah.
Public hearing, do we have a motion to,
It's your turn.
I motion that we approve the division.
do I have a
That's per-
So
second?
you're approving you're recommending the annexation and the proposed zone changes.
Exactly what I'm doing, the annexation and the proposed zone changes.
And also conditional use permit?
We haven't read that staff report tonight, it's
not
on the agenda.
So
Okay,
that'll come later.
okay. Then I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded to accept,
To recommend the annexation and the proposed zone changes.
and we'll have a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? So it passes. Thank you. Next on our agenda is a conditional, thank you, a conditional use permit to have a bakery in a manufacturing zone 1. It's the Hobbs Holding LLC. Can we get our staff report?
This is, the application on it is Ken Manor, it's at 1615 West Bridge. The current zoning is light industrial M1. The request for a bakery and a light industrial M1 follows the criteria for conditional use permit. The location, size of the property is compatible under the conditions required for a bakery. The nature of the conditional use permit for the bakery will have minimal impact on the environment, nuisances, and follows the comprehensive plan. Existing facilities are adequate for proposed use. This is a commercial building and is not on a historical property. Department head staff reports with wastewater treatment plan. The property has existing sewer service. The property will be assessed 1 EDU or equivalent dwelling unit. There will need to be a grease interceptor installed in the bakery to keep fats, oils, and grease out of the sewer system and inspected by the pre-treat coordinator, Kyle Daffer. If there is one currently installed, it will need to be inspected by the pre-treat coordinator. There are currently storm drains on the street in front of the property. Water superintendent shares existing service with the entire building. We will need to complete cross-connection inspection prior to the opening to the public. Any cross-connection prevention requirements determined after the completed inspection. Street department, there is no new impact to street traffic flow, sanitation. The sanitation department has the capacity to supply services. Parks and Rec Superintendent, Parks Department has no issues for inputs for this project. Building official and fire marshal, applicant has already applied for a building permit. Fire code requirements have been reviewed with owner. A full set of architectural plans are required to show compliance with building and fire codes. These plans will address the fire area, mixed occupancy separation, egress, exiting, electrical and mechanical systems, etc. Recommended approving with this condition of obtaining a building permit. Staff recommendation, the conditional use application will be granted with the following conditions. Wastewater treatment plan requires an inspection is done by wastewater treatment plan pre-treat coordinator for EDU assessment and installation inspection of a grease interceptor. Inspection completed by water department for cross connection. Building official requires that the applicant obtain an approved building permit. Any questions? Nope.
Any questions? I'm not really sure where that is.
Just have the applicant, Kent Banner.
Open your public hearing.
So at this time, do I have a motion to open our public hearing for the proposed annex, conditional use permit for a bakery?
It's your turn.
I move we do.
Okay, so in favor of, we have Kent Banner. If you'd like to stand up and give us your presentation, please.
So Kent Banner, my residential address is 423 North, 150 West. For the owners of the property, which is located at 1615 Westbridge. And so this property here, that as was stated, it needs a building permit. I met with the building official and fire marshal, and we have submitted a stamped architectural drawing for this bakery. And the property is on Westbridge. The building sets back, and I think you may have anyway, there was submitted a diagram of that, or a view of that property. But anyway, it sets back from Westbridge 130 feet. And the section of the building where the bakery would be is 40 feet wide. It's facing south. To the west is another tenant, and that tenant is Western Mountain West Rentals and Sales, and they're equipment rental company. So they'll have a retail establishment. And then to the east is Lockwood, and they sell and service potato machinery. And so the parking is, they just have parking in the front. Access for the machinery is in the back of the building. And so there'll be a restroom, a handicap accessible restroom that'll be accessible for Mountain West Rentals and Sales, and also with the bakery. And anyway, so that's basically the way it is.
So I am like a person who's lived here all my life, but you have to tell me what the building is. Is it the old,
It's where Lockwood Equipment, and it used to be Blackfoot Motorsports.
okay.
Was there.
I thought that was it.
And Mountain West Rental and Sales is
Just gonna move
going to be
across.
located where Blackfoot Motorsports was.
Okay,
So it's right there by the freeway.
thank you.
And so you're going in the middle between
Yes.
Lockwood and Mountain West?
Right, you can see that, and so you can see the building here, and if you look to the left, Mountain West Rentals and Sales is where you have kind of the brown area. Across the street, you
Across the
have
street.
Pro Rental. That's across the street. So you have some equipment there in front, but since that time, Lockwood is renting another space to the east, and so all their equipment is parked over on that east fenced-in lot. And Mountain West Rentals and Sales is where you can see it's kind of the brown area. What they've done is they're putting on their own facade. And then right to the left of that brown area is an overhead door. And that is where the bakery will be. That overhead door has been taken out, and we have a storefront similar to the storefront you see for where Mountain West Rentals and Sales will be. Right there, yes. We've changed that to a storefront, a glass storefront. The first part of the front part of that section of the building will be retail sales for bakery items, and then the back part will be for the bakery itself.
What kind of bakery, can I ask?
It's a Mexican bakery, and so it'll be just a variety of different products, tortillas and all kinds of breads and things.
Thank you. Do you have any questions?
And then you can see Lockwood sign, that green sign there to the left. There, that's where they have a walk-in door, and they have a parts area in that section of the building. There, where that green sign is up on top. And then when they bring machinery in to have it worked in, they typically take it along that alleyway to the back. There's a roadway to the back for access to the back of the building, and that's where they bring machinery in to work on it.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm. That's all I have.
And we don't have any questions.
If you have questions.
No, I think you're good.
So good. Thank you.
Okay.
I have no one signed up to speak neutral or in opposition to this. So I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
I do so.
Second.
And do we have any, questions you'd like to ask?
No.
I don't think so.
No discussion? So do I have a motion to,
I motion that we approve conditional use.
And I second it.
I have a motion to approve the conditional use permit to have a bakery in a manufacturing zone at 1650 West Bridge. We'll have a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you. Okay, we'll have a staff report on the conditional, on,
Well, it's just an adoption of the plan.
Oh,
I'd
yeah.
just like to add my comments for this is, I didn't get it printed off, but I know what it says. Comprehensive plan is a guide for growth for the city of Blackfoot. It is a plan that is a master plan, but it is just a plan. It is not, it's a living, breathing document that should be able to flex with the needs of the city. It is not city ordinance or zoning regulations, and I'd like to remind everybody that the comprehensive plan will be adopted, and it is a guide to be used for future growth. If we have goals or objectives or policies in there that will be set for my office or the planning and zoning commissioners to write code for, we will, if this is adopted, we will try to maintain or accomplish them goals and policies that are put in place in this document. Any questions?
Thanks, Travis.
So I entertain a motion to open the conversation for a comprehensive plan.
I'll do that. A motion that we open it.
Do I have a
Second.
Thank you. Just so that it's, I don't know how we want to do this, just so that it's on record. We do have, and have received several letters from patrons who have written in for the comprehensive plan. We just got one from, is that Heather? Heather, and so I haven't had time to read it. We have one on file for from Elias Trejo. We have one from Karen Schumacher. We have one from Jan Nish. Well, actually, 3 or 4 from Jan.
I think that's it.
Yeah, was that all? So I don't know how we want to.
Well, yeah, because you're not really in favor or neutral or opposed, but just open the public hearing and have whoever signed up can give their presentation, and
So we did open the public
we
hearing.
just did that, yep.
So in favor of, we have Elias Trejo. Is it Elias or is it Elias?
Elias is great. I answer to a lot of different things, but I'm a kindergarten teacher at Moreland called me Elias, and I just stuck forever. So, yeah. Well, I just.
Give your name and address.
My name is Elias Trejo. My address is 832 West, 100 North, on Blackfoot, the west side. I'm talking about this from a real estate broker standpoint and a developer as well. I wanted to come up and talk about a few things. The average price point in Blackfoot in 2016, just 10 years ago, was $157,000. Today, it's $377,000. That's about 149 or 140% price increase, while Blackfoot's population only grew by 11% during that time. So it's not that we're getting a huge influx of outsiders, it's that we have a lot of people that are local here that are needing housing. From 2009 to 2019 nationwide, after the 2008 crash, there was a severe lack of building nationwide. It was actually the lowest rate average per year during a decade that's ever been recorded. During that same time, the largest generation alive, my generation, millennials, entered the housing market in Idaho. We tend to get married a little bit younger than the states surrounding us. I married my high school sweetheart that I met as a senior in a math class full of sophomores, but we won't talk about that. All of that has contributed to the price increases, and outside of just the mere, the supply and demand from lack of supply and the high demand from the millennials, our zoning laws and regulations that are also baked in also severely limit supply in general. The majority of the cities around the nation that are struggling with affordability, which is all of them, they have a residential zoning of 70% single family only. That is difficult. Things have changed so much over the last decade that the single family home that everybody would love to own is not really the initial entry point anymore. It used to be when you could, I believe you said you were in construction, there was a time where a brand new house was $149,000. You could get 2,800 square feet. You can barely buy anything with over 2,000 square feet for close to $500,000 anymore. Like prices are going that way, and if we want our city to thrive economically, to provide great city services for the city patrons without having to raise taxes for the current residents there, we have to look at our zoning laws, and we have to figure out different ways to add to the tax base, and more importantly, keep the integrity of the housing ladder. Back in the day, you could start at the bottom of the ladder with a single-family home. Today, that looks like an apartment or a condo or a townhome where you could actually, a townhome, you can purchase a townhome at a lower entry point below the median housing price, single-family housing price, and you could start building equity and work your way up to the housing ladder. When you've outgrown it, you can get into a single-family home. You can buy, something different after you sell that single-family home, and eventually we get to the point where we start climbing down the housing ladder, where we don't need a lot that big, or we don't need a house that big. And what I'm hoping that we can do as a city is, not just think about today, but think about the next 10 years, the next 20 years, and what can we do as a city to continue to attract businesses. You guys in the Planning and Zoning Committee have probably heard letters being read from employers that just need more housing. The more housing that we build, and the more zoning variations that we have and types of houses that we build, we can get more revenue for the city per acre, which is important because a healthy city needs more revenue to continue to, upgrade services and everything else. So, really for me, I just hope that we can look at things in more of a factual manner and less of an emotional manner, and realize that Southeast Idaho is going to grow. They're putting 3 lanes on the interstate for a reason. The growth is going to be exponential over the next 10 years, especially with data centers coming down here, and I think Blackfoot has the opportunity to position themselves as a city that still provides an affordable entry point for their own citizens, but can also attract other businesses that can come into town. And to do that, we need a healthy tax base, and we need to develop more types of housing that are affordable for all entry points that work in various
Yes,
locations.
thank you. And I apologize, because
no.
I should have said before, we limit it to 3 minutes.
Yeah, I'm so wordy, so I apologize, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak.
All right, thank you. We have no one signed up for a neutral. We do have, and once again, we are limited it to 3 minutes, so say as much as you can in your 3 minutes. And so we have quite a list here. Mike Hanna.
Mike Hanna, 2029 Borson Street, Blackfoot, Idaho. I would like to request a definition of the plan unit development in the glossary of the City of Blackfoot Comprehensive Plan be amended to more closely align with the definition provided by the state of Idaho and its legislators. Currently, the comprehensive plan defines the plan unit development as an area of minimum contiguous size as specified in the ordinance to be planned and developed as a single entity and to contain one or more residential clusters appropriated commercial, public, or quasi-public use, and may be included in such use or primarily for the benefit of the residential development. Idaho Code, Title 67, Chapter 65, Section 67-6515 provides that the state-enabled definition which states, a plan unit development may be defined as a local ordinance as an area of land which is variety of residential, commercial, industry, or other land use are provided under a single ownership of control. Because the state of Idaho has expressed authorized plan unit development under this broader definition, I have believed it would strengthen our comprehensive plan and improve clarity for the citizens, the developers, and the decision makers alike, you guys, to adopt the language that mirrors our state legislators, our state. Therefore, I respectfully request the definition on page 78 of the glossary revised to read, planned unit development, PUD, an area of land which variety of residential, commercial, industrial, and other land uses are provided for under a single ownership or control. Aligning with the comprehensive plan with the state-enabled, state provides a clear understanding of the plan unit development tool to strengthen the plan consistently with the Idaho law, okay? What our legislators want. When it comes to this area, when it comes to housing in this area, I have kids, and I know younger kids that come out of high school has got houses. They go out and work out the site, or they leave this area, but still work. We don't have a housing crisis in this area. We can't say we have a wage problem with the local people, the local manufacturers. They don't pay enough. But the ones that chase the site, the ones that have good education, can buy a new house coming right out. So, I mean, I hear all that real estate stuff and all this, and I can tell you 70 to 80% of our churchgoers at our church are from out of town, and they love this area. And they like it how it is. Single-family homes, you know, this and that. But when you start cramming all this stuff together, so let's go with the legislators. And I'm done. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Okay, Deanne?
Can I go after Carolyn?
Sure. So Sherilyn Goodworth?
Sherilyn Goodworth, 62 Hillridge Avenue. Just to preface what I'm about to say, I think we have different visions than Mr. Trejo. We aren't excited as a community, and most of the people in this room are in agreement with me that we are not excited as California's economy is failing. Governor Newsom has done things to where Walmart is now pulling out 250 stores. That was in the news today. So they're really in big trouble. Guess what that means for Idaho? #1 destination. Guess what? New York is now communist. So guess what that means for Idaho? We need to have our ducks in a row and be ready for all of the people moving in. It is a great thing for the realtors. I won't deny them that. We just need to decide what our vision is for the town, which I believe is what the comprehensive plan is. This is very key to everyone here. What this comprehensive plan does is because it provides an overarching idea of what we want to become as a city or maintain as a city. Regarding the planned unit developments benefiting this community, Blackfoot has recently seen several planned unit developments come into our city that have been opposed by many citizens. We believe this does not have to be the case. However, under the way the city is currently interpreting the code, developers are being given a density advantage by creating a PUD instead of a regular subdivision. In a regular subdivision, there are two limits placed on density: lot size and maximum density. The maximum density in code is calculated to match the minimum lot size. For example, the minimum density residential zone, 1 acre contains 43,560 square feet, and lots must be at least 6,000 square feet. This allows for 7 duplex lots per acre and 14 units total, which matches the maximum density in that zone. Any land used for streets, this is so important, any land used for streets reduces the number of lots and therefore lowers the total number of units that can be built. However, the city has determined that if a developer creates a PUD, the street area can be included as part of the square footage. This results in significantly higher density than would otherwise be allowed in a standard subdivision. Planned unit developments should not be primarily to benefit developers at the expense of the community and the people who are going to live there. That's the thing that's hard. They take what they can get, right? And if this is all they can get, this is what they get. And we got to think 30 years down the road when that's not new anymore, but it still will be small. PUDs should serve as a tool to advance the public interest while allowing for innovative development. We therefore ask that the following language or similar language be added to the comprehensive plan under the guidelines for development within Chapter 3, Land Use. Planned unit developments are intended to allow flexibility from conventional zoning and subdivision standards only when flexibility results in demonstrable community benefits and higher quality development that would otherwise occur. These benefits may include enhanced site design, preservation of open space, improved infrastructure, diverse housing opportunities, and amenities to the community welfare. PUDs should not be merely to achieve development outcomes that could be accomplished through a standard subdivision.
Sherilyn.
Is that my time?
Can her husband defer? Point of question, sorry.
Yeah, we don't normally do that, because otherwise, anyway, you'd have somebody given an hour, and it's not fair to everybody else, so.
But he's signed up and he won't speak if he.
Well, I realize that, but then Joe does, and Bill does, and Bob does, and then everybody.
So he can just
yeah.
finish reading.
So, yeah, that would be.
You don't want to do that to him, really? Let me read it so that he does
We're
not have
that big of
to.
a crowd, so I guess I'm not too concerned about it.
I'm almost done. I am 2.5 paragraphs
Go
away.
ahead and finish.
I appreciate that.
The way you go.
What?
2.5 pages away.
Oh, you seem to know me.
she is, yeah.
I'm trying to be clear. I don't want to just rattle this off. I want to be able to understand it because it's kind of dense. PUDs. PUDs should not be merely to achieve development outcomes that, this is still the wording we'd love to have in the comprehensive plan, to give you guys the ability to have a little bit more oversight on what's coming our way. PUDs should not be used merely to achieve development outcomes that could be accomplished through a standard subdivision, but instead should serve as a mechanism to promote innovative development that advances the broader goals of the city. The purpose of adding this language is to ensure that PUDs are a tool for achieving better outcomes and public benefit, not a shortcut around subdivision standards or simply a way to increase density without community value. Much of the opposition the city has seen towards recent PUDs stems from the perception that they increase density without providing meaningful benefits to the community beyond what a regular subdivision would offer. In some cases, residents are concerned that these developments place additional strain on the infrastructure, property devaluation, and nuisances without clear public advantage. Clear language requiring community benefit in PUDs would create transparency for both developers and residents when a PUD is appropriate and what is expected in return for flexibility. This would encourage better neighborhoods, not just more lots, neighborhoods that are more livable, attractive, and that hold value over time. It would reduce long-term burdens on the city and taxpayers, help preserve Blackfoot's character as it grows, and encourage amenities that benefit the community. Growth would feel intentional rather than reactive, and we would like to see fewer conflicts at hearings as development aligns more closely with community goals. PUDs would become a true tool for building better places with balanced and well-integrated land use that add value to the community, not just to individual parcels. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Am I up next? Is that right? And I will be 2 seconds.
2 seconds,
And
okay.
down. That's it.
Don't
I'm
make
not
me
reading
read
it. I'm
that.
not reading a paper.
Just trying to be fair to everybody.
No, I just want to put my name.
Could you give your
That's
name and
exactly what
address?
I'm doing. I want to state my name, which is Greg Goodworth. I live on 62 Hill Ridge Avenue here in Blackfoot. I appreciate you letting her read the rest. I would have done it, but I just wish to express support for the correction of the definitions of planned unit development to match the state definition, and I agree with my wife in this situation, and also support the others that have spoken, and would like to support those that are coming up. I know what they're going to say and just wish to express my support. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Deanne?
You're gonna get tired of hearing from me, aren't you? Deanne Mucko, 828 East Airport Road. And I would just like to express my agreement with what Mike had to say and then also what Sherilyn had to say. But in a condensed form, the comprehensive plan, I think, needs to add the language for the benefit of the community. So not just, so we've got a balance there, so it's not just for the benefit of the developers. And other than that, I'm in agreement with the comprehensive plan. I think that the comprehensive plan needs to take into consideration the overall view of what Blackfoot, what we want it to be 20 and 30 years down the road, and have a vision of those things and approve things or deny things based on that overall vision. But whatever the comprehensive plan in regards to development, we need to please add the verbiage for the good of the community, for the benefit of the community. Thank you.
Heather?
Okay, I am speaking tonight on behalf of Bingham.
Give your
Oh,
name and address.
Heather McPhee. I'm speaking on behalf of Bingham County Historical Society. I'm getting there. The Historical Society's address is 121 Schilling. My personal address is 519 West, 55 South. Okay, the Bingham County Historical Society acknowledges that there is confusion surrounding the origin of the name of the city of Blackfoot and the nickname Grove City. We wish to correct the comprehensive plan in this matter. The Planning and Zoning Administrator cites Bingham County History, which is our centennial book from 1995, and a Parks and Recreational Opportunities document as sources, suggesting that the original name of the city was Blackfoot was Grove City. We believe Parks and Rec is likely just drawing from the centennial history, and when we do a careful reading of the wording, the exact wording in the history, the wording is unclear and confusing, but a careful reading does suggest that Grove City is just a nickname, and it actually does specifically say that. So I have submitted documentation to you, which you mentioned having received, and I'm not going to reread that documentation, but I'm just letting you know that you have the proof there. We have confirmed our conclusions with the Bingham County Clerk, Pam Eckhart, and with Aaron Bostwick of the Idaho State Historical Society. They agree with us. We therefore request that the second paragraph on page 13 of the proposed plan be amended. We are recommending one of two options. If you really love that nickname of Grove City, you could say, in 1874, a town was laid out in anticipation of the railroad's arrival. The town was later nicknamed Grove City due to the considerable number of trees planted there. Or if you're not in love with the nickname, just say in 1874, a town was laid out in anticipation of the railroad's arrival. If you want further information, just read the documentation I have given to Travis Allen. That will explain further how we have reached this conclusion, but we are very firm that we are correct. I also, though, as an individual, would like to express my support for correcting the definition so that it matches the state definition. I feel like the state is giving us some rights as citizens with that definition, and I want those upheld in the city code. And then I also want to lend my support to the idea that planned unit developments are getting flexibility above and beyond what a regular citizen gets in a subdivision plat. And in exchange for that benefit that they are getting to be able to kind of go around the subdivision laws, I would like to see some benefit being given back to the community for that flexibility. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next on the list is Britton Anthony.
Britton Anthony, 94 Hill Ridge. And I agree with the change of the wording of the comprehensive plan and agree with everything that Sherilyn has said, and everything.
Thank you. Cassie Hall.
Hello, my name is Cassie Seacole Hall. I live at 455 North Spruce Street. So my issue is the infrastructure. We need to fix the infrastructure problems before we approve new subdivisions. Just I keep getting letters saying I have lead in my pipes. And then the water pressure, as was addressed earlier. We need to change the words in the comprehensive plan to match the state definition so that you can say no to dense housing before the city can handle the load. The current wording is too vague and is skewed to help developers proceed with bad plans. That's all I have to say.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Sorry, I don't like speaking in front of people. I like kindergartners much better.
Jerry Matthias.
What was the name?
Jerry Matthias. She's coming.
Oh, okay, there we go.
Hi.
That's a lot of tax.
I'm Jerry Matthias. I live at 2200 Cruiser Loop over in Cooper's Cove, the new development over there. And I want to thank you guys for all the work you did on the comprehensive plan. I have worked in different organizations on such things, and I know how much time and effort you put into it. And basically, I agree with a lot of it. I agree with some of these people that the wording could be more clear, and I have a couple of examples. But when I did work on things like this, I was always open to suggestions, so that's what I have tonight. And I have a couple of questions. One is, On page, let's see, page 18 of the comprehensive plan, population and growth. The census, I'll just read that very last sentence. The census-based population of the city of Blackfoot in 2020 was 12,428. The community between 2010 and 2020 experienced a 4.4% growth rate, and it's anticipated, and that makes sense, that it would continue to grow at that rate. However, what that means is then by 2030, there will be almost 3,000 more residents than there are now. So I don't think that the city itself needs to plan for that many more residents. Can't you coordinate with the county? Because there are many, many developments being made in the county. When I drive down the road I used to live on, they're springing up everywhere. So there are other options than Blackfoot that people could use. So I think some planning needs to be done, as you've pointed out. And one of those is on page 72 of the comprehensive plan. I'll just read these few sentences. It's talking about housing options. Publicly assisted housing shortages are typical in that federally funded programs subsidize housing fall short of local demands due to the high number of residents who have income below national and state averages, and that's certainly true for Blackfoot. An ongoing need from the private sector is to provide standardized rental units, which are safe and affordable. And so that's my question. Why should that be up to the private sector to encourage and do those kinds, especially rental units? And I'll talk a little bit about rental later. But one of the questions I have is, if you're going to encourage rental units, where do you then encourage them? Some of the stuff that Sherilyn was talking about addresses that. But it goes on to say, planning by the city should encourage affordable housing for residents and opportunities for young families who are attempting to purchase first-time housing. And why is that left to the city to make sure that that happens? Why isn't that happening in the private sector? So then I did a little math. Math was my lowest score on the graduate record exam, but I can do a little bit. So if you drive along Sunnyside Road in Idaho Falls, they took down that neat old chicken farm and built a huge housing development in there. And I drove by one day, shortly after it was finished, and the sign said, rentals as low as $1,200 a month for those apartments along there. I think they're 3-bedroom, they have a garage underneath, no yard at all. So, let's see. So if you, and in another place in here, I think it's on page 42, you talk about the median income, family income in Blackfoot. It's listed as $57,000, but if you go back and look in the old comprehensive plan that you're replacing, they list it as 40-some thousand. So apparently it's increased. But I'm going to take the difference and say someone has $50,000 of income. That's probably 2 people if they're young families. So if you pay $1,200 a month for rent, that's $14,000 a year. So that leaves you with $36,000 to buy food, 2 cars, insurance, clothes, gas, utilities, incidentals, possibly paying off your school loans. That doesn't leave you with very much disposable income in the end. So I question whether it's a smart policy to build rentals to encourage people to get into private housing? Why aren't we encouraging more single-family development units so that these people, and not such big McMansion ones? You know, probably in 5 years, the house Jim and I live in is going to be for sale. Be perfect for a young family, but it won't be that cheap. So we need to encourage more of, I think, single-family dwellings, but maybe more even modest ones than are in the developments that are getting built now. So that's all I have to say.
Thanks.
Thank you.
And our last one is Ken Seaver.
Ken Seaver, 822 Pendlebury. I want to address just a couple of items. I think the comprehensive plan, I think it outlines pretty well a really good vision for Blackfoot, right, as it's supposed to. The two specific things that I want to talk about is in Chapter 3, Land Use, in the section Higher Density Housing, it contains the following statement, quote, "Both historically and in a comprehensive survey in 2022, citizens object to higher density housing being built near established neighborhoods, but it is necessary to accommodate growth," end quote. So while the growth is expected, the assertion that higher density development adjacent to established single-family neighborhoods is necessary is problematic. The language implies inevitability, and it could be interpreted to justify spot rezoning of virtually any parcel in the entire city to accommodate growth. And so, while the growth is expected, I respectfully request that this statement be revised to better reflect the community's concerns, as well as to ensure appropriate discretion in future land use decisions. And so I would propose something similar to the following, using that same sentence: both historically and in a comprehensive survey in 2022, citizens object to higher density housing being built near established neighborhoods. And this is where it changes. While such development may not always be completely avoidable, any decision to rezone low density areas to medium or high density should be carefully evaluated to preserve adjacent property values, compatible land uses, and established community design, and to mitigate impacts created by dissimilar zoning. So my intent there is not to impede the development, but it's rather to protect the rights as well as the expectations of existing residents. Rezoning things from what they were after someone has purchased a home, it could be an infringement on the rights of the people who bought it, with the understanding that it was zoned to accommodate similar style of housing. And so we just need to be sensitive to that. Instead of putting a stamp on every application that comes, we need to have that in mind, that we want to make that compatibility and that flow and design, which is a very common theme within the comprehensive plan. That's stated multiple times throughout the comprehensive plan. My second item is actually a little bit further down in that same chapter. It's regarding infill development, which is kind of the same topic of we have available parcels, we're going to either build on them or we're going to change the zoning to accommodate some growth. And so the objective number 7 states that we want to encourage infill development, which is great. Policy 4 states that we want to develop an infill development ordinance. And then the section titled Guidelines for Development provides the following statement regarding that infill development. It says, infill areas are those areas that are primarily surrounded by developed areas. These areas are 2 acres or more and can be further subdivided. The development of these areas should be mindful of existing uses and not depart from the surrounding zones. So given the current pace of growth in Blackfoot, I really urge the commission to make the development of that infill development ordinance one of its highest priorities. We know that there's been a lot of conflicts. A lot of it has been due to infill development, where we have created dissimilar zonings right in the middle of a zone that was not really intended for that. And an ordinance that is clearly and bindingly reflects the guidance that's already articulated in the comprehensive plan specifically that those infill areas remain compatible with the surrounding zones. And then it should also contain requirements like we've talked about with PUDs that on those types of parcels, the PUDs may not deviate from the base zoning density of the parcels regardless of any other provisions that are often extended to them. But a well-written, clearly enforced infill development ordinance is really essential to protecting those existing residents, while also allowing the city to intentionally guide the growth in a way that aligns with the vision of this comprehensive plan. Without such an ordinance in place, the city risks allowing development decisions to be driven by the interests of aggressive developers rather than by the long-term community planning, which I know all of you have put a significant amount of time in as you've crafted this comprehensive plan. And it would be a shame to not give yourselves an opportunity to guide that direction and guide that development in a way that turns Blackfoot into the community that we all want to see it become, instead of the community that outside interests perhaps may have a vision for us. And so the growth is inevitable. We recognize that, but delaying is not neutral. And so with the help of the development, with the level of development that's currently underway, there's really no justification for postponing this action that's really going to give protections to everybody who lives here in Blackfoot. And that proper action now in the development of appropriate ordinances, like that infill development ordinance, but certainly many, many others that are going to come as a result of this new comprehensive plan that are really aimed at protecting Blackfoot and the residents, and the vision that we have for the city is really critical. Because we want to become the community that we see it, as we outlined in the comprehensive plan. And so if we don't take that next step and write good ordinances that give you the authority to, hear a proposed plan and say, that's great, but unfortunately, that's not the vision that Blackfoot has for itself as outlined in these ordinances. So maybe alter your proposal or come with a different proposal that meets these ordinances. It's a protection for all of us. It's going to mitigate the conflicts that are currently happening. It would certainly prevent them from happening into the future, but that's really only possible if we act now and make sure that that growth that is coming inevitably is done in accordance with the vision of the comprehensive plan. So, thanks.
You want the paper? It's all yours.
Thank you. Okay. We're at the end of the list here. Did I have anyone else that did not sign up that wanted to? So at this time, we'll close the public hearing. And
Move that we close the public hearing.
Second.
so we closed it. Do we have any questions or anything that we would like?
Who was the last one who spoke?
Ken Seaver.
Mr. Seaver, I think you brought up some really, really good points. I think you need to realize, though, that the comprehensive plan is not a city ordinance, that the Planning and Zoning Commission was not in favor of recommending the subdivision that you opted not to name, but nevertheless, we all know what it was. The city council went ahead and upheld that denial and then reversed that and approved it. Having done so, they changed the zoning. Everything that subdivision was requesting fell within the regulations of that zoning, and we had no choice.
Understood.
We were out of it at that point.
And that's also part of the
And
request for
And
the
so,
ordinance.
all of these things that you're saying, you need to bring before city council and have them consider these things before they vote on any future planned unit developments or anything else, because the way it's written right now, our hands are tied. We've stated this before, and I personally am very sorry that that's the action that was taken, because we did not feel that that should have been done. So I just wanted to say that on the record.
I appreciate it.
And once again, we need to understand that the comprehensive plan is just that, a plan.
It's a guideline.
A guideline. It doesn't have any, it's not ordinances, it's suggestions. Some people may say that that's what guides exactly how we do it. We have certain ordinances that we have to follow if a person comes in. And I noticed when people were talking about what people do with their properties. If I own a piece of property and I come in and I meet the guidelines to that piece of property for what I want to build, I have that right as it being my property. And we need to remember that even though, you know, like right now next to me is something going in or proposed to go in that I am not happy about. 17 acres of 148 homes, I'm not happy about. But if they do what they have to do to have it fit in there, it's not the commission's. We can't decide if they've met the ordinance. We pass it on to the city. The city decides what will go in. And so it always looks like we're the bad guys, that we don't follow what's being written or what people want. That's not the way it is. We are very sympathetic to a lot of people's needs. I understand if I bought a piece of property and 5 years down the road, somebody bought some other property and had it changed, and I thought, it's like Cooper's Cove. Those people bought their homes thinking that that's what they were gonna have, just single-family homes, and now that's changing. But the comprehensive plan, what we're talking about now, does not say that a person can come in and it doesn't say what they can do with it.
Right. And we don't want anyone telling us what to do with our property, right? And so I think there's agreement amongst the group. And so the request is some small but significant wording changes within the comprehensive plan that will help guide those future ordinances. And then there's that ask to say, let's really sharpen the pencil on the ordinances that we're bringing forward so that we can get proper protections in place so that when developers come in and they see a parcel, they say, hey, I already know that I can't build what I think I want on that, so I'm not even gonna buy that parcel. I'm gonna buy this one over here that's going to fit the bill.
That's correct.
But if we don't write those ordinances and we don't get that wording in there, then your hands are tied. Someone shows up, they say, I bought this parcel, rezone it for me, and I'm building a mansion here, or whatever it is. And so we wanna see it grow. We wanna see Blackfoot grow, but we wanna see it grow responsibly and in a way that's sustainable into the future so that it's a great community to live in for our children's children's children, right?
Yeah.
Not,
One issue, though, about Blackfoot growing is the change in laws last summer on annexation. And now you have to have, help me out here, Garrett, 60% or 2/3%?
60%
60%
of the land and 50% of the owners.
60% of the acreage and 50% of the owners have to agree to annexation. That drastically limits the city's ability to go in and grab land and take it into the city, allowing for that increased population. So you have to consider that too. And maybe that's why these developers are trying to do these plan unit developments and the city's approving them. I don't know. Because they don't have the ability to go in and just annex big chunks of ground again, or small chunks all around.
Okay,
Back to
Is that fair?
That's fair, but I was just gonna kind of refocus. So your options tonight, so you're recommending board, the city council has the ultimate say on the comprehensive plan. So you would either be recommending that the comprehensive plan is written. If you want to make changes to it, you'd have every right to table it and to take some of these things into consideration. If there's a material change, you would have another public hearing. But if they're, so depending on what considerations you want to take into account or not, that's kind of where you're at tonight.
I'm thinking we table it and then go back. And there is good things that were brought up from the people here. There's some good things within the letters that we received that I think, spending the year writing it, what's another month? I mean, to be honest with you, let's look at it a little bit more and see what we can incorporate without changing significantly some
Well, and if
minor
you change it
things.
significantly, you just have another public hearing.
I know,
You
but I
so-
mean, I don't think we have to change it significantly to accommodate what was brought forth to us today,
Yeah,
so.
I only bring that up because I wouldn't be afraid of significant changes either, because it's just another public hearing.
Yeah.
I mean, so,
So is that a motion?
I motion that we table it.
I second it. I think we need time to go back and address the issues that have been brought up and make changes that benefit the community.
So it's been moved and seconded that we table the comprehensive plan and take into consideration messages, notes, thoughts from the public, and work on it. So do I have a vote? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? And I just want to say to the people that worked on the comprehensive plan, I've been on the board for a very long time, too long. And we have worked on this plan, it seems like since the whole time I've been on here, and it's been a long time. And we have good ideas brought in, and people work on it. We had a committee that worked on it, and this is really came to me today when I was reading all these letters. It's wonderful to hear from the public. We always post that we have work meetings on the second Tuesdays of every month. We welcome people's ideas. And this plan was made by people who donate their time, because our time is all donated, and try to do the best they can do with the information that we have, or the outlines that we've been given, or guidance. And so I think we just need to be mindful of the people that work on these. If you have suggestions, it's wonderful. We love to see that. We love to hear it. And so today, that was just proven to you that we're listening to you. It probably won't make huge changes in it, but small changes to make this the community we want to have it be. So I want to thank everybody that's worked on that, and all of you that have come today to give testimonies, that we go forward with this and work together. So.
Thank you.
Can I ask a question?
No.
Point of question?
Go ahead.
Personal point, okay, anyway. If we wanted to get information to you guys, how do we go about doing that?
well, the best way is through the public hearing, just like you did tonight, because the problem is if you have ex parte contacts, obviously, that's when they disclose those at the first of every meeting. And it becomes, you have to give enough material, so obviously the other side of an issue can substantially understand what that contact was all about, and that just becomes problematic. So you don't want behind-the-scenes conversations, we want it to be transparent. So this is the best format for it.
Or she can give it to Misty.
Misty or
Okay.
Travis, right?
Or
So if we
Travis.
want to communicate with them, we would give it to Misty.
Or
and she
Travis.
would
Yeah,
be
Misty
our
and Travis would
liaison.
give
Just
it
like
to
the
us.
letters, but we want it to be transparent, and so this is the best format
But-
to do it.
Yeah.
We can submit letters at any time, not just when there's a public hearing
Sure.
coming up?
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
But be careful, again, back to, we don't want behind-the-scenes conversations going on about it. We want it transparent.
If it's coming to them.
I realize that, we just have to disclose all of that, say, hey, everybody, here's these letters,
Okay.
this is what's going on.
So we write the letters knowing that they are public information, is
Absolutely.
what you're saying? Okay.
And it's
Yeah.
not just to one person, it's gonna go to the whole council, so.
Yeah, so that's all in the packets that come out, so it's all there. It's just a transparency thing, we just wanna make sure everybody understands.
The other thing that I wanted to say is, there's only so much time. I mean, we could beat this comprehensive plan to death. I already feel like I have. To be honest with you, I'm going on over 2 years doing this with that plan. And my wife made a point tonight when she's like, at what point are you guys gonna stop? I mean, it might not be perfect, but it's a step in the right direction, and that's what we're going to. I mean, we want everything perfect, But like I said, I've been doing the comprehensive plan for over 2 years. And you guys came with some great ideas. I'm willing to accept that and make some more time into that. But eventually, it's gonna have to come to a stop, and we're gonna have to accept what we've written, how we've written it, and then give it to city council and see if they make any changes or if it actually gets accepted into the plan in 2026, or if we're gonna go into 2027. Who knows? But just know that, I mean, we'll listen, but there's only so much time that we can keep making changes and taking your suggestions. Not that we don't want them, it's just we have to come to a stop at some point.
And I just have a comment. I feel like all of you guys, and the attorney can correct me if we're wrong, but you guys are minimizing the value of a comprehensive plan, and there is a reason that Idaho law makes what a comprehensive plan is, what it should contain. And Blackfoot actually has an ordinance that says that we will follow the comprehensive plan. And I feel like that's why all of us are here tonight and making these changes, is because this ordinance, I don't know what the ordinance is, or I can't quote it, but there is an ordinance that says that you guys and the developments will follow the comprehensive plan. And that's why we took in our time to read through it and make sure as residents that we're protected. And that's why we've put in time into the comprehensive plan too, is because there is an ordinance that states that you guys will follow the comprehensive plan. And so I feel like the comprehensive plan has been minimized. And you sit there and say it's a guiding plan. Yes, but other towns go about it a different way. Like, do you realize I've read, and I could be wrong, I'm not an attorney, but like, if we were to appeal these things, they would go back and look at the comprehensive plan because of this ordinance. And what should be happening is these developers, if they deviate from the comprehensive plan, then they have to ask that language be added to the comprehensive plan. That's why it's a fluid document. And it's not the other way around where residents are trying to go about it. And so I just feel like there needs to be some clarity on that, is how valuable this comprehensive plan and the value that it brings. Because there's a reason that Idaho law makes it mandatory. There's like 7 things that it has to have. Also, something the comprehensive plan doesn't have that Idaho requires is a land use map. We've never had something like that. You have to designate zones about where they are. And they said, oh, well, we're not gonna do that, Travis Allen said, till after the comprehensive plan. So I'm just confused as to why we minimize the comprehensive plan so much. Because it does hold weight. It protects, there's a reason that there is a comprehensive plan.
Do you have any comment on that, Garrett?
Well, I mean, so this isn't the time to debate it, but Ken's point is correct. You have a comprehensive plan, which is kind of the overall look of things, but typically a comprehensive plan is so subjective that and I'm not trying to minimize the comprehensive plan, but the ordinances, the next step of drafting those ordinances is more important, because you hopefully have the objective there, right? And we've talked about that at previous meetings. I mean, the comprehensive plan is a subjective thing, kind of the pretty picture idea, and your ordinances should be crafted so that the math follows along with that. But you take a suggestion of, benefit of the community. Not a bad suggestion for a comprehensive plan, but what does that mean? I mean, if we asked everybody in here what benefits the community, you're probably gonna have 25 different answers. That's the subjective side, which makes it difficult to rely just on the comprehensive plan. But if you sit down there and you say, well, but in an LDR1 zone, you have to have a minimum lot size of 7,000 square feet. Well, we all know what that means, right? That's the math side of things. That's the objective side of things. And so Ken's point's well taken, is the next step is the ordinances. If there's something that doesn't comply, that's where it really needs to be changed. Because that's the objective side, so that everybody understands exactly what that means. So they're both important documents, but they kind of play a separate role. I mean, because like I say, subjective versus objective, and you hope to define that.
Okay, thank you for clarifying that. Travis, would you like to give us city happenings?
Thank you, Chairperson. City happenings that are going on. There's a ribbon cutting on January 31st at Spiffy's Outpost. This is at 54 West Pacific. If you want to go attend that support the downtown and the Chamber of Commerce. There's also a business tour that you can take with Sputnik on February 12th, and you can register for that through the Chamber of Commerce website as well. That'll be from 1 to 2 at their factory. I think would be a very interesting tour for a lot of people to take. The mayor and the county commissioner will speak at the State of the City and County Luncheon that's held at the Elks Lodge. That'll be on February 18th from 11:30 to 1, and you can register for that at the Chamber of Commerce website as well. Peter Pan is at the New Hearts Theater for the first couple of days in February. There is going to be a march for Meals on Wheels pancake breakfast, supported by Travis Packer and the Blackfoot Elks Lodge, Saturday, March 7th at the Bingham County Senior Center. Go ahead and support them and the cause for Meals on Wheels. America 250 has several activities planned throughout the year, but they're calling on quilters to create a quilt block, and it'll go together to become a full quilt. The design is a 12-inch quilt block that celebrates freedom and America's 250th birthday. Our block will be featured in the America 250 and Idaho quilt display. If you want to go to the Chamber of Commerce website and find out how you can participate in that if you're a quilter, I strongly encourage that. Currently, the Twin Bridges project is nearly complete. We do have a boat dock that we plan to launch in the spring and have an opening ceremony for it as well. The pedestrian grant on East Airport has been closed for the season, and we plan to reapply to increase sidewalks in that area as well. I think that's about it. Everything's kind of slowed down for the winter for projects. Other than the well 14, we did have approval and a bid awarded to drill that main well. I already discussed that a little bit, answering other questions. But that's good to know. Other infrastructure will go in later, and that should be done by spring. Any questions? Okay. Thank you.
Do I have a motion to?
I move we adjourn.
I second that.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we adjourn. Thank you all for coming out tonight.
Thank you.